through the storm.
Lead me on to the
To the
light.
light.
Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
Ooh, key change.
When the darkness appears and the night draws near and the day is past and gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter, if you care about that sort of thing. I hope everybody is wearing their pastels this morning, as I am. It's as the Lord would have it. I'm sure the Lord was wearing pastels on this day. What? Wait a minute. Was the Lord? This is not such a happy time, actually. Why the pastels? The Lord was ostensibly crucified on this weekend and rose from the dead, and yet everybody's wearing pastels. Can somebody please explain that? I'm not going to research it. That's what I rely upon you all for. There's no point, in my opinion, of researching, going to Google when I can just use common sense. And so I wanted to start the show with the pastels, but I really don't like them. But I just wanted to show you that I'm appropriately dressed, but I don't know why I am. So that's what I would encourage everybody to do, is to ask why we're wearing these damn pastels today. If it was such a tragic weekend, in a sense, but maybe it's because of the hope. Maybe it's because of the hope of the resurrection. I don't really know, but somebody can maybe help me with that. I'm going to take this god-awful jacket off. And this probably was used at the Breakers or some country club down in Florida. I'll have it here just to remind you of the proper attire for the weekend. Happy Easter once again, or Passover, or whatever that is to you guys. I prefer black on this weekend, and my shirt is tributes the Statuary. That's the building that Margot and I used to own and maintain in Jersey City, and some good folks now have that, and they are still doing concerts in not exactly the same way that we did, but they're doing their own thing, and we love their jazz program, mostly featuring jazz. And their next Saturday is their first, April 23rd, I believe it is their season opener. So I invite you guys to support Rachel and Ted. Just the statuary.com should get you there. And that's in the Jersey City, New York City area. Great jazz series, I think comes to you monthly. But pick up a shirt and support them. That's a nice looking shirt. And the stars, see those stars? Aren't there stars? Yeah, there's stars, 2 stars on there. I think they got those stars, that star motif, from a steel belt that I put around the front of the building, because the building was bowing out a little bit, but I had some local steel guys weld belts around the building, and I put some threaded rod in there and tied them to the 2 or 3 of the joists on the inside of the building, and I held that threaded rod to the steel with these little stars. And I looked all over for those decorative bolts. I think I found them in Pennsylvania. Anyway, again, as the Lord would have it, if you're going to put bolts to threaded rod, they have to be star bolts. And that's, I searched high and low for that. Good morning. So somebody let me know, is it pastels or is it a dark attire? To me, on the weekend that the Lord was crucified, I'm going with a dark attire. I don't understand this pastel stuff. We'll talk about that later. I'm going to play a song that I don't know if it's properly a hymn, but but this is an old Scottish song, and it's a beautiful one called "The Water's Wide." it waxes cold and fades away like morning dew. The water's wide. I can't cross o'er. Wings to fly. Give me a boat that will carry true. We both shall roll, my love and I. That was a lesson in faith for me. I just didn't have faith that my low voice was coming through. See, I can't hear it as well because I've got the guitar playing loud, and why would I want to turn that down? But when I'm going, the water's wide, I can't cross over. I just have to have faith that my sound designer, Margot, is on top of it. And every now and then I would get in real close to the mic, and this microphone would mute my guitar, and I would just lose my sense of center. And all because I didn't have faith in that moment. And that is really an essential part of delivering a performance. And that's part of what I talk about is when I'm playing a live show, I hear everything pretty much kind of intense in the way I need it to be heard, but I don't kind of go through all that rigmarole and setup and technical part when I'm here on the air with you guys. But faith is a part of it. And the wonderful thing about playing more acoustically, or at least in a low volume situation, is because you leave the details to take the day. The details and the subtleties provide the intensity. It's the exact opposite of sometimes a big live show with a PA system. But when the subtleties are providing the intensity, a lot of other things need to be in place. Faith, for one thing. And, it made me think. That's the thing about a musical journey or in the artistic journey. It forces us to look at our lives in a different way. And I was just thinking about, maybe because it's just the weekend, it's like, the water's wide. Well, that verse about love is gentle, love is kind, the sweetest flower, at first it blooms, but love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like morning dew. Maybe that's, all of these classic songs, so many of them have this sad twist to them. And maybe it doesn't really say that love disappears. Or maybe kind of it does. Maybe when it says it fades away, maybe that's it. Love just fades away. But at least for me, love changes, love changes. And life and love leave you where you are, and you just have to adapt to it. You have to adapt to that change. Kind of like if you believe the story of Christ, Christ died, was crucified, died, went to the tomb, and then he got out of Dodge. He got out of Dodge and basically said to us, without saying to us, it's yours now. You guys, I've done my lessons. I had 33 years of giving you guys some teachings. You take it from here. And for now a couple of thousand years, we've been trying to deal with that and figure things out on our own. And we can wallow in the despair of the passing of the Savior and all of that stuff and wear black. Or we can wear pastels and say, all right, we're happy that moving on is possible. We're happy that a better day is possible. We're happy that a better day is here. So there's two ways to look at it. Maybe the pastel thing is just that happiness of or symbolizes the resurrection. But one thing I just don't hold with is all this bunny rabbit stuff. Can somebody please tell me about? I speak French, and for the French-speaking people out in the audience, I was in the grocery store last night, and as I always do, I just roll the dice and I start speaking French to strangers, and every now and then I'll catch one. It's kind of like just casting a net out, not really rolling the dice. So the cashier responded in perfect French, and we had a little discussion. She told me she was from Bretagne in northern France, and she told me that I speak French well, and that was nice. At the end, she said this. She says, "Vous désirez une blague en français?" Oui. Elle m'a dit, pourquoi est-ce que les Français célèbrent le Pâques, or la Pâques, I can't remember. That means, why do the French celebrate Easter? Pourquoi est-ce que les Français célèbrent la Pâques? Je ne sais pas, j'ai dit. Parce que c'est une bonne idée. I'm going to repeat that. Parce que c'est une bonne idée. And the translation of that is because it's a good idea. But if you really listen closely, une bonne idée, it's a bunny day. You get it? The French lady said, the French celebrate Easter because it's a bunny day. And I just died laughing. It was fantastic. So I never knew that the French had a sense of humor until last night. And that's just one of the great things about just going around and speaking French randomly to strangers. But I do have a beef with this Easter bunny stuff. I hate Easter egg hunts. I mean, why do we have to have Easter egg hunts? I had them when I was a kid, but I used real eggs. And my parents used real eggs, or the Easter bunny used real eggs. The Easter bunny doesn't use real eggs anymore. He or she uses these plastic things. The eggs rot.
Right, that's where they stop using.
But the worms get them. My sound editor, my sound designer said that it's because the eggs rot. I guess maybe that's what somebody, one of the listeners texted in. Which is worse, for an egg to rot in the company of worms and contribute to the cycle of biology and the ecology and everything, or the plastic container to be in the park for the whole year? So hundreds of families flock to this park behind my house, and they plant these plastic little things all over the park, which I find because I walk out there and I clean it up when I'm walking my dogs. And maybe they try to get them all at the end of the ceremony. But it just really torques me. I just, first of all, it's not in keeping with thinking about the resurrection story I mean, are people contemplating that, or are they just contemplating getting their eggs? I just don't get it. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and I don't think we need plastic eggs. It just doesn't make any sense. My mother-in-law, is that who she is? My mother-in-law gave me a clip from the Wall Street Journal this week, Thursday, April 14th. That was the day before tax day. Can y'all see this? And anyway, there were two articles in here under the opinion pages that are some of the most spiritual stuff I've heard in a long time, and I certainly haven't found it in the New York Times, because the New York Times is much, I get it every morning, but you have to read 2 or 3 columns of an article before you can actually get to the meat of an article. In the Wall Street Journal, at least in the 3rd paragraph, it says, is that the title of this article is "The Devil Resurfaces in Ukraine." I like this article. A guy named Daniel Henninger, who's a lawyer or something. And no, it's a different guy. Anyway, I don't know who he is. But he writes, "The subject of admitting evil has become complex because the fact of living in an era of fluid postmodern definitions means that a clear traditional understanding of anything is subject to challenge or revision." Means that a clear traditional understanding of anything is subject to challenge or revision. In other words, evil can't just be evil, plain and simple. Let's look into why people do what they do, rather than just saying that the damn behavior is evil and the end of it, and it needs to be stopped. Notions of what constitutes evil have been reinterpreted and distanced from individual responsibility. Now, I know this makes me sound really, really conservative to say that I like this and I relate to this, but I'm going to read it again. Especially in our time, especially in the 10 or so last years in the United States, notions of what constitutes evil have been reinterpreted and distanced from individual responsibility. To the Wall Street Journal, I say amen. Thank you, Jesus. Now here's another one, same page. This guy's a lawyer in Charlotte, North Carolina, which right off the bat, he gets my approval. He's reading up on the saints, the Christian saints. And for some reason, at the very tail end of it, he quotes Oscar Wilde, which, I love Oscar Wilde. Himself a deathbed convert to Catholicism, said that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Woo! I love that. Every saint has a past, meaning you don't know the evil doings that some of these saints partook in, and you don't know what can happen. You don't know how a sinner can correct his or her ways. That's essentially what he's saying there. Yes, lo though he or she may have been a sinner, he or she has the propensity to change and correct his or her ways. The Wall Street Journal brings you this spirituality here, Thursday, April 14th. I'm going to play a song. And this is a song that I've been wrestling with the last couple of years. Actually, more than that. It's a U2 song. And someday I want to sing it and really do a proper job of it. But I was talking about detail and nuance, and this song kind of has a repeating bass line. It almost goes through the whole song. But what makes it, you don't know it, but what really makes this song special, at least in my opinion, is that the melody, every time there's a melody line, it's different from the other. The melody's never the same from one line to the next. So the melodies never repeat. The melodies of the verses never repeat. The choruses are the same. And it's also a wonderful arrangement because it kind of has two bridges, one of which repeats. So, anyway. Here we go. I'm getting there. It's nerve-wracking, but the only way for me to get through that is I gotta be with the song. I can't be thinking of anything else. There's so many details in it. It might not seem like there is, but there are. There are, and I play these songs for you when they're not tucked in and bow ties aren't on them and they're not all coiffed up, and I just want you to know what I go through to try to really quaff a performance, if ever that is possible with me. I mean, I love playing a tune when I just kind of when I get to that point where I'm not really thinking about it. And I think that's kind of what we're all going for in life, where it's just that sort of flow place, that place of just enjoying it almost in an objective way, as if somebody else were watching it. I can't even begin to do that until I'm in that non-thinking place. And there are some songs I can do that with, but that I'm not there yet. But that's the lure of it, That's the lure. That's what we strive for as artists. Now I want to remind you. I went off mic there that it's time to pass around the offering plate here. Can y'all see that? Maybe you can. I don't know if you can. There we go. It's the offering plate. For all things come from you, and your own have we given you. I don't know what that means. It's First Thespians or something. Send me some support if you can. I'm not going to do anything with it except for buy guitar strings and play records and all of that sort of thing. But I forgot to and buy more records. I love buying sermons and buying music for you guys. That first song that I played, let me just give you a piece of it here. Oh, come on. It has to start all over again. It's just a... Y'all hear that? It's the new album from Betty Draper. Y'all know who Betty Draper is? She was Don Draper's wife in Mad Men. Do you see Betty in the middle? Doesn't she look like Betty Draper? Can y'all see that? Well, I know for you, those of you listening on the radio, I don't know what to do. I'm going to describe Betty Draper. Is there anybody listening on the radio? Do I need to torture myself just trying to be eloquent here? She's a blonde looking skyward, of course, because she's thinking of the Lord. She has some sort of a ink blotch above the right side of her lip, which is a mole. It kind of looks exactly like Betty Draper, but I think it might be a registration snafu in this image. It might be a mistake, in other words, but she looks just like Betty Draper. And it's marvelous. These images are marvelously hand cut with an X-Acto knife and rephotographed, like I was talking about last week. And somebody came over and put some Letraset press-on type and rephotographed that, and everything has nice soft edges. They're in blue choir robes that look kind of like nuns, except for their hair is coiffed like 1950s ladies. They look like Stepford wives or something. But this woman in the middle looks exactly like Betty Draper. Anyway, I don't know how else to describe Betty Draper, but if you just want, that's the bad thing about radio. You just have to watch Mad Men every now and then. I can't help you. So we've got James Nabe tuning in from Come On Bunny Day, yeah. Pagan spring rituals. Oh my gosh, yes, we've got. He's letting us know the opinions coming straight to us from Taos, New Mexico, or Asheville, North Carolina. So for sure, they are the very opposite of the Wall Street Journal perspective. But I value all perspectives here at Hymns and Hollers, and pagan rituals, spring rituals. I'm loving this explanation. Thank you, Nabe. I'm going to play another song, and this is one. We're going to go for a hymn here, an actual hymn that I've played and I play often. It is definitely a song of contemplating death and life and moving on. It's contemplating the own personal resurrection. This is called Am I Born to Die? A hit from 1861. Well, am I born to die? To lay my body down, and must my trembling spirit fly into a world unknown? And so from earth I go. What will become of me? Eternal happiness, oh, must then my portion be. A land of deepest shade, free from human thought, the dreary regions of the dead, where all things are forgot. Well, am I born to die? To lay my body down, I must my trembling spirit fly into a world unknown. Am I Born to Die? That was popular in the Civil War days, when the last time in history that people were thinking about what happens to them after they pass away. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're thinking about that all the time. And it's a special day. I mean, I'm very much in frustration around Easter time or Passover. I don't know what to believe. I don't know if I should be celebrating and wearing pastels or wearing dark as I've chosen to do now. But it's a good day to sing the blues, I think, and that's just exactly what I'm going to do right now. In the water, children, we I'm gonna jump on the water away in the water, wade in the Well, I'm going nowhere, Jack. Got an angel to my back, and it ain't nobody's business but mine. Well, I'm going to my death, 'cause no one's on my path. Well, it ain't nobody's business but mine. No, it ain't nobody's business but mine. No, it ain't nobody's business but mine. Well, I'm going to my faults. I'm gonna break till I get strong. Well, it ain't nobody's business but mine. I'm gonna think upon my faults. Ain't nobody's wrong, and it ain't nobody's business but mine. Oh, it ain't nobody's business but mine. No, it ain't nobody's business but mine. Oh, it ain't nobody's business. Oh, it ain't nobody's business but mine. That string was going out of tune so bad. I'm sorry that I made that your business. But whew, it's an old guitar from 1957 to geek out here. I love this guitar actually, but it was just slipping and sliding on me there. This is kind of a pristine guitar. It would it's a very, very rare example of a guitar that's been kept in great shape, but still has mojo. It just plays so well. And I just love this thing. I bought it from a preacher outside of Nashville in 1998. Paid a lot for it then, but this thing has risen in value, ascended in value as we all will hopefully do after we pass away, ascend and increase in value. I'm also using today a 1964. You can't see it, and I can maybe try to lift it up. Can you see that? Can you? Oh yeah, you can see that. It's a 1964 Fender Princeton, not a Princeton Reverb, Fender Princeton. I used that in Madison Square Garden the first time I played there with Richie Havens. So this little amplifier that's now coming to you was my sole propellant when I played for 20,000 people the first time. And I want to, speaking of a sole propellant, I want to tell you about a record that I just got from a fellow down in Florida. And I've known about this guy for years, and he's a little older than me. His name is Steve Shanholzer, and he doesn't know I'm plugging his record, but this is his record. It's called Blues That You Choose. And here's a guy he's a great Southern style player. I don't know if he's from Jacksonville, but he's spent most of his adult life there. And he finally, at this point, he's a little older than me, and I'm 64. At this point, he finally said, I want to do a record of my own. And he wrote a whole album of blues tunes, and they're fresh tunes. He has this wonderful kind of creamy voice, but it also has an edge to it. It's got that kind of Tom Waitsy thing that I do sometimes a little bit, but it also, it's just kind of like Southern honey, you know. All of these songs, except for one, were written locally in Jacksonville. Steve and his colleague Dan Walters wrote some tunes, but Emmylou Harris is credited with the very last song. So I want to play for you just a little bit of that, and I've got it here queued up, so you can just kind of listen to this, Margot, to see if it works. I got to put in my code and all that other stuff. You don't have to do that. But he didn't have a CD, so let's see what happens. There's a valley of sorrow. Hold on.
Battery 80%.
Every night I hear the thunder, like the sound of a distant gun. I love technology. Over all the damage I have done, and the shadows filling up this land are the ones I build my own.
Battery 80%.
There's no comfort from the cold, this valley of sorrow in my soul. There's a river of darkness in my blood. Through every vein I feel the blood. There is no bridge for me to cross. Well, I won't bother you with bad sound, but his record sounds really good, and his song choices are great. His compositions are fantastic. They're fresh, but that was an Emmylou Harris song. I'm sorry that didn't work. Of course, I got up real early and made sure this little Bose SoundLink thing was going to be working, and it decided not to work. So anyway, I'm gonna finish off with one more song. I'm not sure what it's gonna be yet, but
Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah, but he has a little bit of a creamier sound than Tom Waits. But he's unapologetically Southern, and it's just the other thing I wanted to say about Steve Shanholzer is he I'm gonna connect with my fist into this thing in just a second, but yeah, just throw that thing away. It's just this is Sunday morning. It's Easter. There are a lot more bigger problems in this world than that thing, and I'm trying to realize that. Where was I? Steve Shanholzer. Anyway, just get the CD. I recommend it. It's, this guy's not doing, Sweet Home Chicago and all those standard blues songs. He wrote his own repertoire. And he plays with that North Florida, that's what it was, kind of that swampy sort of guitar style, but he does it much sweeter than I do. It's just his own version of that swampy feel, which, in my opinion, there's a black thing in the country style playing of the interpreters in Northeast Florida, which is where I'm from, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that kind of vibes kind of getting into my music. We got some people listening from Arkansas, and I'm going to end off with actually, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to noodle around for a second because I'll just explore here on the air. That was actually good for me to do. That's the foundation of a song, a new song that I'm working on. I've had that one for years, just kind of on simmer, and it's called Father. And the chorus line is going to be, Father, Father, save us from ourselves. Father, save us from ourselves. And it's a good song for Easter, I think, or for the resurrection, because I wish I had it ready, but I just, the lyrics haven't come to me yet, and I just haven't seen the light on it. But I'm using Father as a metaphor for all those things, and that the person that we aspire to be, that we wish we could be, that for some reason we just can't grasp. And I've often wondered if the whole, now you guys are going to maybe say I'm being very anti-Christian here, but I'm just going to go for it. I've often wondered if maybe the whole biblical story is just metaphor, and this concept of the resurrection is just that is meant to show us that we can live in this life or we can be dead in this life. We can wake up. We can rise above ourselves. We can save ourselves. Father can save us. However we are saved, we can be saved right here and now. Now the Christians would say, oh, no, you're spoiling the party. I want the afterlife. I want the afterlife. But maybe this concept of being saved is just an issue of being awakened right now. Because, help me out on this. It's like, if it's lights out, if it's lights out when we pass away, you're still saved eternally. If you're awake, if your life is full, you're still saved forever, because there's nothing beyond your passing point, right? There's nothing for you. So as far as you know, you are saved for forever if you're saved while you're conscious. These are the things I think about. And that makes me really, really far afield of the Christian ideology. I know. I am sorry about that. But why wouldn't Jesus have wanted us to be awake, alive, completely saved? And by saved, I mean by saved, I mean just completely true to yourself. Completely true to yourself. How many of us are completely true to ourselves? How many of us walk around and don't have these voices of, I shouldn't be doing this. This is a terrible way to spend my time. Or I should be helping this person out and I'm not doing it. That is not being true to yourself. And maybe that's what Jesus spoke of when he said, you can be saved. Save from yourself, from that terrible feeling of you not being your truest self. Maybe that's what he really meant. I don't know. But this is what I think about. And so I'll just leave you with that. I think I've got to play it out. I'm going to play it out. If it's appropriate to say it, I will say Happy Easter. People say Happy Easter. I just don't, I don't understand that, but, far afield from literal, but not from spiritual. Thank you. That's, again, James Nave. He's probably in Taos or in Asheville, one or the other, couple of my favorite spots on the planet. I'm jealous of Nave wherever he is, because he's always in cool spaces. I'm going to be playing a little pop-up kind of concert next weekend in St. Louis with Alan Ferber, a fantastic master trombonist and great jazz player, funky. He played with Brian Setzer for years and played with Charlie Hunter for a good long while. And we're going to be playing a set next Saturday in St. Louis for Euclid Records, or at Euclid Records. Record Day, National Record Day in St. Louis, and maybe we'll tape that set. But here's one of mine I'm going to end with, and it's a good story of salvation. It's a good story of hope for the better life that Christ promised us if we just did certain things a certain way. And lo and behold, I don't think the hero of this story who escaped slavery, I don't think he was operating from a biblical perspective, but the story keeps repeating itself. If you just have faith, and in this case, he had faith that he could escape the rice plantations in the Darien, Georgia area, go to the swamp, cross the St. Mary's River, and find freedom in Florida, which was Spanish at the time. This is a song that I wrote based on that tale from that region, and it's from my new record called Walter Parks and the Unlawful Assembly. There's a picture of it. You can purchase it, and that would be considered your offering. There's the offering slip. That will be just as good as your offering if you purchase that CD. And if you've already got it, just buy it for somebody else and just send it to them. So this is one called Georgia Rice. It starts with a holler. Imagine a slave having escaped. He's walked through the lowlands, the marshes, and he gets into the swamp, and he hears a man hollering. There were tracking teams out there when a slave would escape. And this guy, he knew the dogs were tracking him, and he figures he's going to run towards this man who's hollering, who's no doubt a white man. And he's going to take his chances that this white man will do the human thing and help him find his way across the St. Mary's River. This is called Georgia Rice. You holler from the oldly grave. I thought he ain't a party to the search, and I prayed. Hound dogs tracking back the road of peace. They like to drive me straight into the Okefenokee. There's a damn good bounty when a slave break free. But you're gonna catch hell if you shelter me. I'm out looking for the Saint Marie. I'm gonna wade in her water, she'll set me free. So I take my chance with the poison snake, because the master won't hang the good money I can make. He crossed the line of what a man can take. Turn a man from a chattel and you clean him up nice. Let him straight to battle with the Georgia rice. Don't you wonder what I come up from under? Don't know how, but it's all the same. I gotta take my bow to the Queen of Spain. Don't you wonder what I come up from under? Folks can't figure why man of God would risk his deed of granted son for a slave out looking for the San Marie. He's gonna wait in a water, she'll set him free and cross the line of what a man can be. Turn a man from a chattel and you clean him up nice, and him straight to battle from the Georgia rice. Don't you wonder what I come up from under? Don't know how, but it's all the same. I'm gonna take my vow to the Queen of Spain. Don't you wonder what I come up from under? There's a damn good bounty when a slave break free, but you're gonna catch hell if you shelter me. I'm gonna cross the line of what a man can be. You might catch hell, but they won't catch me. Well, I'm glad I saved the best for last. That was not too badly done. And rusty as always early in the show, but that's what recordings are for. So if you want to hear something done near perfectly, pick up one of my recordings. I've got many of them. I've got Swamp Cabbage records. I've got a couple of solo records. I've got a wonderful acoustic record called Cathedral that I'm very proud of. And also check out Steve Shanholter's Blues That You Choose. I really recommend it. It's just fresh stuff from the Jacksonville, Florida area, my hometown. I'm going to be coming to the Northeast. Check your calendars or mark your calendars. May 23rd, maybe. I think I'm in, just look on my website. I'm in Boston or Cambridge or Somerville, and on the last Tuesday night, I think in May, and the last Thursday in May, I think the 25th, I'll be in Jersey City at the Fox and Crow with my buddy Rob Curto, and also in Boston there, and doing some dates in the Philadelphia area, also with Rob Curto. So we've got kind of a mix of old reels and hymns and hollers going on, and it's just old-time music meets my swampy electric stuff, you know. Jersey City is May 26th. That's Thursday, May 26th. Somerville, Mass, Boston, Cambridge, May 24th. Philadelphia area, Lansdowne, PA, Thursday, May 19th. And I think that's it. So can I say about that other thing in June? In June? I will be at the Jazz Festival, the Jersey City Jazz Festival, with my spirituals group, the Unlawful Assembly, and this is the first announcement on that. The full band is playing a Sunday concert at 1 p.m. It's a new thing for the Jazz Festival. They normally do a big time show on Saturday, but we're coming back on Sunday, and Julian, we're not going to say that. Julian Lennon is John Lennon's son. Anyway, you guys take care. Somebody let me know if I should wear my pastels to the Sunday, to the Easter lunch, or should I go black? I don't know, but I'm going to count on your feedback here. See you guys. Bye-bye.